and then Radhika can jump into the system and do the demo.
Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. So because I know there's a lot of questions about EMF. So I just want to basically give a clarity on how EMF is to be used. So EMF is to be used only for catalog orders. So that way, you create your EMF just to set the funds for the term that you need, and then you go to your catalog suppliers via the punch out, and then you don't have to go through the approvals again. So that way the supplier gets a PO. So the EMF is only for internal use only. It does not go to the supplier. That's why it's only to be created against the catalog suppliers. So that way you'll be able to offset the funds every time you place an order. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Any questions on that?
I do have a question. This is Maritza from anesthesiology. Hi, good morning, everyone. When you do set up this earmark fund, I know you just mentioned catalog only, but how about non-catalog? Just for example, one of my vendors that are service, like let's say the coffee service, the business and stuff like that. I know I have to do that as a service.
Right.
Correct. But do I have to create an earmark for that or no?
No. You do not need to.
So only earmarks is just for catalog only, not the ones that are non-catalog.
Correct.
Okay.
So rule of thumb is this, guys. So this is Neil here. If you need the order to go to the vendor, it can never be EMF, earmarked fund. So earmarked fund is an instrument to block your funds for a specific vendor purchase, but that will never go out to the vendor. So if you need to send an order out to the supplier, it has to be a requisition and a purchase order, either a goods or a service. So that's a very key difference that all of us have to really understand, because earlier it's a big process change. Earlier, the LOCs acted both ways. You were able, it was like a purchase order, and it would go out to the supplier. But in the Ariba world, that will not work that way.
All right, this is Carolyn. So what you're saying is that if we want to establish something with WB Mason for our supplier, our office supply supplier, that has to be earmark funds. But if we want to have a service contract with Xerox, that has to be a service PO.
The latter, yes. Jorge, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, that is correct.
All right, thank you.
And Carolyn, even for the first example, right? So with WB Mason office supplies.
Yes.
So it's going to be your decision there, meaning with this particular vendor for this particular fund or WBS, if we are allowing the department users to order from WB Mason, then great. Then you can have the EMF. Then any child orders which would be referring to this EMF will not go through approvals. So you have to be cognizant of that fact.
Question, going back to WB Mason then, I remember in the past, when I used to place their orders, I didn't do a line of credit. I just placed them individually depending on the supplies that I need for the following day. I still have to do an EMF for that?
No.
Okay,
That is
cool.
a great example where you just use your purchase requisition like a shopping cart before and continue with that.
Okay.
So if we want to continue to order from WB Mason, we don't actually have to have an EMF. We can just place the order.
Absolutely, yes.
Ah.
I have a question. Adela from oncology has a question. McKesson medical drugs, we use McKesson to order some supplies for infusion pumps and stuff like that, one of our practices. Currently, when I have done line of credit, what they've been doing, and it's catalog items, okay, same items we order all the time. They have been sending me invoices, and they add the date that the invoice was ordered on the end of the line of credit PO number because they say they cannot differentiate one order from the other with one PO number the same. So is somebody working with them to fix that? Because they're the only vendor that does that.
So, okay. So you're saying that they invoice with the OPO, that's what you're saying? And they can differentiate?
No, what I'm saying is like, let's say I have a line of credit with McKesson Surgical Drugs. Our pharmacist orders catalog items from them, like pumps or cassettes for the pumps, right? For the chemo pumps. And when they send the invoice to me, they will add the line of credit PO number. They will put that on the invoice, plus they will add the date of the order in order to differentiate one PO, one invoice from another, because they say they can't use a line of credit.
So how do
They can't use like a standardized PO. Do you know what I mean? Like you know how every other vendor you do when you do a line of credit or earmark funds, you would have one PO number and use that for every order that you do if it's catalog items. This vendor says they can't do that, which I doubt. If you're telling me that for McKesson, which also does medical surgical supplies, I can do earmark funds for catalog items. So I don't know if anybody's going to reach out to them. I could give you the information. I've sent this to finance. They haven't been able to work with them on this, but it's the same vendor. It's just a different section of that vendor.
So my question is, how are they placing the orders? That's one question.
The order is being placed online or over the phone. It depends on the patients coming in and the treatments coming in.
Yeah, that's gonna be the difficult part. So I gotta work with Matt, because the problem is with Ariba, everything has to be done through the system. There's no way to place orders through the phone, because the thing is they invoice directly through Ariba, so it has to be a line-to-line match.
All right. So it's just you have McKesson Medical Surgical Supplies, which we also order from. Wouldn't this item, I guess this section is not part of Ariba. They're two different sections. I don't know.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry to come. Yeah.
No, it falls.
They're catalog items. They're catalog items. They're stuff they order all the time.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can't create EMF with McKesson, and then you could place the order without going through the approvals again. Because I know
but the thing is that it's not the same section of McKesson.
So here's the good thing now. So in your example, you don't have to create a LOC and send it to McKesson. So what you can do is you can create an EMF document, earmarked funds document, get all the approvals in. Once that is all done, you create a requisition based on whatever date. Say you need a cassette 3 days from now, you create a requisition. It will not go through any approvals. It would go as a PO to the vendor with the correct date.
No, I understand that. My issue is that this is not the regular McKesson catalog that you do currently now through, WBG that you did. The options for these items are not on the site that normal people will order medical surgical supplies. These are just specific supplies for, for drug items like chemo pumps and cassettes. Like it's not where you order needles or where it's not the same part of McKesson.
So how do
it's
you
the same
order
vendor.
that
They have the same vendor number, and everything, but it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Right. So quick question though. So this catalog that you are mentioning, how do you access that?
On their website.
Oh, directly on
Our pharmacist orders it.
Okay. Jorge, so this seems to be like a new process, right? Meaning it's not through our regular WBG catalog.
It's not, but we've been doing it for 10 years or more.
Yeah.
But ever since you guys been using McKesson as a preferred vendor.
So let me talk to Matt and the other team.
All right, I'm sorry, Jorge. It seems like Kimak is always complicating things. I apologize.
No. I'm glad you brought this point up, because now we need to figure out, how to add this into the system. If it's not showing up in the catalog.
In fact, if it's the same vendor, Jorge, then maybe we should have that as part of the same catalog. Maybe a different section in the catalog.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be awesome.
All right, I took a note of that, and I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
All right, so Radhika sharing her screen.
Yeah, can everybody see the logging in to QA system?
Yes, yes.
And as you can see, Radhika loves the color pink.
Yes, I do. I changed my background. Okay,
What's
so
not
this is
to
a
like?
tested.
What's not to like?
Okay, so when we log in here, there should be a tile called Earmarked Funds Reservation. That's where we go in.
This is like will be available for all New York requisitioners. Whoever can shop today can go to WBG and see the style available. And as you click, this is the screen that will open up.
Yeah, it looks very similar to the eForm monitor, if you're familiar with that. So this is the create button that you would go into, and this is the list of EMFs that were previously created.
Yeah, make sure your pop-up blockers are disabled, because as you notice, there is a pop-up screen opened up. You might get into an issue that no new screen opens up if you have all those browser settings of blocking pop-ups.
So justification, Praveen, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so justification is basically there is no limit on the text that you wanted to add here. This is available for the approvers to look into. So you can write a paragraph in terms of why you are creating this EMF, and whatever information you put in that justification will be available for approver. That Radhika will show how the approver can actually see the data that is being created by requisitioner. Okay. EMF due date is basically if you're creating this EMF in the olden term LOC, you are just saying in this case that you're creating an EMF for next fiscal year, right? 6/30/2023 is the end date of the next fiscal year. And title, I think when we had a demo previously, we said make sure you give it a clean title where you can easily identify in the Ariba system, because whatever you are creating here will be transferred over into Ariba when you're creating requisitions. If you do a drop down on the earmarked fund field, you can either search by the EMF document number or you can search by the text, right? So if you have a good text identified here at the time of creation, it will be easy for you to do a search in the Ariba BNI system. Okay. So vendor, it's limited to all the catalog vendors here. If you do a drop down here, I think I saw a question, give me a list of all the vendors who are available for EMF. So in production, you should see all the suppliers which are catalog suppliers. Okay, so that is your list basically. And GL account, obviously only the purchasing GL accounts will be available for you. You can do a search based on the code if you know it, or you can do a search based on the description of the GL code. Okay.
Okay, so moving to the next screen. This is where we enter the fund.
So think about this way, EMF, usually you end up creating one line item, right? But if you have multiple splits on the EMF, going like there is a split between funds or fund and WBS, you can add all the splitting here in the screen. There is no limit on how many splits you can do. As you can see, like if you start typing in the third row, for example, Radhika, there will be.
So as soon as I entered the second row, a new row got added here.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah,
see, there's always 3 extra rows.
Okay. So it's dynamic in terms of number of rows. It's keep appending on the screen.
Expected.
Sorry, what was the question?
So I don't think anybody had a question. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And also funds and WBS here, when you do a drop down, you can do the same thing. Search
But
code.
at night, so, yeah.
I think someone have to mute.
I think you're
Okay, so do a search based on the fund number or fund description. Same thing applies for WBS. So Radhika, here we only show fund WBSs which are active, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it
only
is
valid
expired,
WBS.
or if there is no budget available, I mean, not
No,
about the budget
budget.
available, if there is no the grant validity is not applicable here, you don't even see the WBS. So that raises the question, if you don't see the fund that you wanted to assign, WBS that you want to assign, you have to go and talk to research accounting, because that the WBS is expired basically. So they have to extend if you want to use it. Okay.
Also cross department funds and WBSs are not listed here.
Right. So there was a question that was asked previously. So so right now the restriction is if this is a medicine user here. So only funds and WBS belonging to medicine are shown in the drop-down values here. So initially during the requirements, I think we heard that usually LOCs are created within the same department. But during some of the sessions last week, we did come across a scenario where, or a question that they wanted to have a cross department, right? We are still investigating that to open up for cross department. What are all the different implications that we will have? Okay.
This is where we can attach any supporting documentation.
Again, that's optional. That's not mandatory for attachments.
This is the final review screen. Then submit. Yeah, that is the request number.
Yeah, the 422 number that you see below. I just wanted to reiterate here, that is not a PO. Okay. The number range 42 looks like a PO because you are used to 42 number as a PO today, and it's a 10-digit number. Anything that starts with 422 going forward, it's not a PO. That's a new design. Okay. So what this 422 number in the backend financial system, which is SAP, is it is a reservation document. So what it is doing at the submit, when you see a 422 number, it's blocking your funds. When you run your commitment report, or when you run your fund detail statement, fund summary, or grant detail grant summary, you should be seeing that there are funds blocked with this EMF number, and it will clearly show you that this is an EMF document number. It has its own doc type. So some of the departments are already used to fund reservation. So this is also another fund reservation document. Okay.
So this is where we see the approvers that should be approving this. So first level is our budget level approver. I'm going to take that test ID and log in.
Whatever is the approval steps for a requisition in Ariba, the same approval steps are also applicable here for EMF. First level followed by DIVA followed by DADD as applicable.
Okay, so the tile that the approvers will be using is earmarked fund request approval, or they will see it in the to-do list as well. So that was our request number 64. Here is the title. This is the EMF document number. The justification will be seen here. Any supporting documents there. This is the grant total. Okay. So the approver can either approve or reject with the comment. So now that request has disappeared from the approvers list. And once we refresh here and go back in, it moved to the next department approver. Sign in.
Question, once all the approvals are in, how long of a period the requisitioner has to wait to see this on their drop-down list?
We are planning to schedule the job every 2 hours from SAP into Ariba, but if that is too long, let us know. We'll try to reduce
I
the
think
time.
that's too long. 2 hours is too long. For me, it's too long because I need it, once I want to enter stuff, the max I could probably will be an hour. Because then again,
Okay.
I have to go to my next, my next tax or meeting, I just don't want to leave
Right.
anything hanging.
Okay, so 1 hour should be also okay for us.
I mean, I don't know about the other departments, but I'm just saying they might want half hour. I don't know. But to me, the max could be an hour.
Okay,
Thanks.
So now I'm approving as department DD. Okay, the request is completely approved. So I'm going to run the background job. Let me log in there.
This is Adele again from here. I have a question on the approval process. Like some of my orders are on grants and stuff like that, so it's going to take it still has to go to grant accounting, right, for approval prior to. Like it has that extra step than just regular administrative approval. If it's on grant funds.
Right. Well, however, the way the approval steps are for the grants is to be the same
Mhm.
way.
Okay, because it doesn't. Okay, like I don't expect it to turn around in 2 hours. So I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Gotcha.
We will just test it and get back to you one more time because we know for a fact that product category approvals is not part of this EMF process, just like it was not part of the LOC process.
Right.
For grants, we'll just have to revisit and see if it's allowed or not, because I believe the scrutiny is more when it comes to grants.
Right, it is. Yes.
And because this is like an EMF and the following requisition will not go through any approvals, my understanding is I don't believe that approval step will be part of this. It will be part of the requisition, I would think. But we'll
Okay,
just
okay.
test it and get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry, in the meantime, I have a question just to make sure that I heard correctly. So before, when we had grant, I would still see the fund number. It will just say, I would get a message saying exceeding the budget or like a message that would not let you go through. Now
Yep.
you are saying that the fund number, the grant number, if the budget is not there, when I put my initial amount, it's not going to show at all.
No. Okay, so let me clarify that. If the grant is
Yes, please.
expired, then it won't show. But if the grant exists, it's valid, but the budget don't exist, right?
Mhm.
Then you will have a error message saying that you do
Message.
not have sufficient funds to move forward.
Good. And the new grants are added automatically as they open and they are valid in the system.
Yep, because this is the whatever EMF solution is built on top of SAP system, so it's real time. So if the
Sure.
grant is created in SAP, the checks are real time.
Thank you.
Don't worry about all this technical stuff. You're just trying to push this EMF. Okay, so Radhika is just showing that 53 now successfully moved into Ariba. Okay.
Yeah. So 53 moved. Okay. So it should be good. Okay, so I can close this EMF screen, right? And then I will go in and log into Ariba.
Yeah.
Radhika, maybe you can, okay. What I was suggesting is you can keep it open a private window. And after you place the purchase requisition, we can come back and show the open amount here.
It's better to re-log in, maybe Neil. Otherwise, there will be a conflict with the test IDs usually.
Okay, whatever works. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me log off.
So anything that, let me just a minute. Quick question, Adela again from Hemong. So anything that doesn't have a catalog number should be a service?
Or if you're gonna purchase.
Like you told me the oncology supply should be a service, so that's one PO that I can use for the whole fiscal year for all those hundreds of invoices that I download.
Okay, so I'm going to pick the same supplier that we used in our EMF creation.
And we have to use the same supplier or a system won't allow, because you created EMF with AppCam. So expectation is all requisitions should be against AppCam if you want to use that 42253 EMF.
To the earlier question, someone brought up about oncology supplies and the need to create a service order. Is that actually a service, or are you ordering any products and like material?
I discussed this with Jorge. It's actually, we're ordering drugs, but through a machine in the pharmacies. And I have to download, it's complicated with their site. So it's not like we can order it, like it won't, Jorge, maybe you can explain better, but it can't work through, it won't work with Ariba. We already determined this. So I just wanted to confirm that one PO number that I get through this, when I create the service PO for this, for the fiscal year, is the same PO or number that I use to put on the invoices when I submit them to finance for payment. I just don't want any, I want to set this up the right way. I don't want any problems. This affects patient care. And this is millions of dollars that we're dealing with, you know, monthly. So I just want to make sure that I do it correctly.
Okay. Jorge, maybe you and I can connect a little later just to understand what it is, so that tomorrow, if there is any.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about it. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I came in, I entered the need by date, and then I went into the line items, counting section, and then searching for the EMF funds document. Okay, I do browse all, then go search for our 53. Okay, 53 is right here. Okay. And then the corresponding line item.
Sorry, do you mind showing that again? Because that was going to be my question. How do you link the EMF to requisition?
So this is the, I came in and clicked on the line item. Okay, that was how the screen looked.
Once you click on the catalog, right, you check out. So it will take you to this Ariba screen, right? And all you have to do is within the accounting, the way to link is select the appropriate EMF document number. You don't have to select the fund. So Radhika, what you do is, I think this user has that fund defaulted, and just remove the fund, clear the fund. Yeah. All you have to do is you don't have to enter funds and WBS again for this. All you have to select is earmarked fund, because earmarked fund has the fund and WBS associated with it in the back. Okay, so Radhika already selected the fund header document number. Now there are two lines here, right? One is fund, one is WBS for this example. So now she's trying to pick up both. You can also do split accounting. I mean, ideally, because there are two lines, the best way is to click on the split accounting. So Radhika, if you can cancel this.
I mean, since we're actually looking at this, so my question is, if we're already pre-selecting, right, on the earmark fund, wouldn't it be easier, like for the second option to just the items that you put on that particular year fund to show up, as opposed to multiple lines like it just showed up now? Wouldn't that be a little bit confusing?
So these are the list of EMFs that were created that are available for this user.
No, I get it, but that was my question. If we are already selecting, let's say the earmark fund, you selected tile.
Oh, here, okay.
Why would, for the second option, why would all of them pop up? Like, let's say if I'm ordering something in a rush and, I'm assuming I'm selecting this earmark fund. I wouldn't want to see all my earmark fund lines show up for me to have to search for it. It's just my opinion.
So let me ask, okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with fund reservation. The way fund reservation gets created in the SAP, which is a standard functionality, a combination of accounting object, which is fund or WBS, with GL is a line item. So just like how you do split on one line and multiple funds and WBS on the requisition, that's not how the fund reservation works. So if you have 2 funds, 2 WBSs on the fund reservation, it will create 4 lines. So that's how the standard SAP functionality works, because we cannot split one line on the fund reservation with multiple accounting split. But it's a great question. I mean, yes, I mean, we went through a back and forth to see how we can simplify this as much as possible, but the standard behavior or the standard SAP functionality is asking us to actually pick the line associated with fund or WBS.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So again, if you know that this is a split accounting, you just click on the split and, if the percentages are 50-50, select the respective EMF documents, earmarked fund document.
Another quick point here to Christina is it's a little labor intensive, but if you happen to pick the wrong line item, the system will give you a hard stop. It will let you know that it doesn't match the header in the line.
Understood. Thank you.
But you're right, why if picking the line item, why it cannot derive the header document. We'll look into that, but might need some additional help from the Ariba team. So we'll have to, we tried, but we'll keep trying if we can actually enhance that functionality.
I'm speaking from the Department of Medicine. So I got an earmarked fund approved for air gas. And my problem is when I'm up to this point where I'm putting the earmarked funds document, it says no data. Is there a reason for that?
Did not catch the question.
Sorry, so like,
do you have the EMF number? So Praveen, essentially they created the EMF and they're not able to see it here. Do you know if it's approved completely?
Yeah, so when I go to the earmarked, what is it, fund reserve, it says approved 100%.
Oh, okay. We'll take a look at it because
the transfer program, maybe that was
yeah, we didn't schedule the jobs yet. So again, waiting for these demos to be done. So if you already started creating, we'll start working on extracting this.
Okay, so basically I split 50-50%. One, the first one being on the fund and the second one being on the WBS.
Okay, Radhika, you might, okay. So the line 1, that's not the fund. So go up a little bit up. Yeah. So that 50%, you have to select the other fund line, right?
Oh, I did not select this. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is more than tedious. It's doubling the work because, and also you have to scroll down. It's not showing one under the other one, like initially when you create the earmark funds. So you have to keep scrolling down, do one item at a time. I feel like this can be improved, and at least the screen should be more familiar and show both funds next to each other so you can see. This is
Yep.
repetitive work.
Yeah, we'll continue to look into how we can improve here, the sorting, for example. Absolutely. So Radhika, can you remove the fund center functional area? I think this is all defaulted on the user. That's why it's coming up. Which I don't think any of the users actually selected. And the fund too, please. Thank you. Yeah, the sorting we will make sure we'll work on it, and at the same time doing a search. That's why I said, you know, if you know the description well on in terms of what you have created, easy to search. If you know the 422 number, you can also search by that. Yeah, so open that. I think this is some other issue.
A valid EMF supply.
Why did you select Apple vendor?
Actually, I did not select any vendor. I don't know where that
Okay.
came from.
Contact, you see, 1 second. Go a little bit up, please.
Oh.
Contact. I think someone is testing the this test ID is used for by everyone. So looks like someone created this and put it in the cart.
Yep.
Oh,
The
yeah.
reason, yeah.
Mhm.
Radhika, it might not work because it looks like it got the item from a different catalog.
Oh, okay.
You might want to just save and exit and restart the creation of this.
Exactly. Just go to cart, delete everything which is in cart. If you see anything.
No.
Perfect. Now, if nothing is there, start from now.
Oh. Did we get the right vendor? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Praveen Chanda. He's actually doing a test PO for Apple. Sorry, guys.
No issues.
Okay. That's good now. I'm hitting submit. Requisition has been sent. Okay.
Oh, view requisition.
Requisition.
Okay, so Neil, one thing that we have to correct, okay, that I didn't know about this also, because we are trying to create a requisition against EMF. I know this purchasing must validate the attention to Neil and Jorge. So when are we going to remove this purchasing approval step? Because bottom line is any requisitions against EMF should auto approve.
Right.
No, but with this scenario, with the issue we are having with ship to addresses,
Right.
we cannot really remove this for now. Once we have a permanent fix for that, then this will go away.
But my question is, I thought that this was a temporary solution, or is there a set expectation on when we are trying to remove this attention to, or this will live forever?
Yeah, so Joe just had a meeting with the DAs this past week. So we're gonna leave it on for another 2 weeks. And then we'll remove it.
Okay.
So this will get removed.
Sorry, for how long did you say this was gonna stay on?
Another 2 weeks. Yeah, because we're gonna give the liability for the DEAs and the fund approver to make sure they check that as well.
And this is only for a preset, I mean, a very limited number of vendors that about, I think, 20 or 25 of them.
Correct.
30, yeah.
Yep.
So again, I know that this demo, when we were trying to do adding the EMF looks complicated, but ideally it's not. I think we were trying to use the same ID used by some other user as well, or tester. So that's why we got stuck. But ideally, all we have to do is pick up the catalog, select the accounting, and that's pretty much right. Usually, there should not be any further approvals on this EMF. It should directly go as a PO to end user, to the supplier, okay, vendor. So hopefully in 1 or 2 weeks, when that interim approval process is removed, it should be a quick process where purchasing or no one else is involved.
So Praveen, sorry, to understand better, you said, so once we do this step, right, and let's say everything gets approved, so after that, we don't have to do anything. This will automatically be forwarded to the vendor?
Exactly. And because all the catalog suppliers are called network suppliers, that means that all the POs will electronically be routed to the supplier.
Okay.
Yeah. So Radhika, maybe can you actually, I mean, you are already used to this, seeing this, right? When after all the approvals are done, it will create a PO. You want us to go through the demo also, or no need?
Sorry, I have another question.
I mean, this is very familiar, right? This is as is.
Yeah, that's the question I was asking. So yeah, I mean, so after 2 weeks, once we remove this interim attention to SRM approval step, SRM operational purchasing approval step, it should be a PO immediately. Okay. And you don't have to take any further action. Supplier already got the PO, and the invoice should be received against that PO from the supplier. So now for every order that you're creating, the invoice should match. So again, the expectation is invoices should not come through the WCM PO invoice queue, which is the OCR solution. It should come through Ariba going forward for these POs.
All right, so then I have two follow-up questions to that. So let's say everything goes smoothly and invoices are built against this. My first question is, can we, if we're running out of funds, can we increase funds on a particular EMF, or do we have to create a new one?
Great question. Great question.
And then second question, sorry, it's since they're linked. If we cannot add funds to it, how would we go about liquidating a particular, or does it just not stay active anymore? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if there are, if you want to increase the funds, so Radhika, is the change active in prod? Sorry, test?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
So there are a couple of changes we are doing, but there is a option called, like, if you go to the same EMF monitor, okay. So once you click on the EMF document number that you are working with, which is ending with 53, for example, which would already show you as 100% complete. Radhika, maybe can you go there?
Yeah.
At least your visibility point of view.
Mhm.
First. Okay, so let's say, yeah, select any one. You see adjust value right there. So that will actually give you, take you to a next screen where you can see what is your new changed amount should be for that existing EMF. Okay, it
And
will,
it takes
because
you
you're
all
adding
through the-
funds. Sorry,
It takes you through the same approval process, right?
Absolutely, because you're adding funds.
Okay.
Yeah. You can also reduce the funds, but again, there will be another. So if you go one step back, Radhika, I just want to see if there is a tile for this test ID called liquidation tile.
Also, is there a limit to how much you can increase it by?
There is no limit. Do you need a limit?
No, I'm asking because I know, I think it was the LOCs before where, let's say I created it for 100,000. I don't think we were able to increase it again by another 100,000. George, am I mistaken?
Right. No, you're right.
Earlier, I think Christina, the problem was there was no PO approvals. But with this now, the approvals are inbuilt in the system. So any addition to your existing amounts will trigger the approval.
Okay. So basically we can try and maintain the same EMF number or request or service basically for a whole year or even longer? Or is it limited to just that particular fiscal year?
I mean, we wanted you to use only for that fiscal year
Okay.
for your remote, because we don't want to again do carry forward, like after 6:30, if you have any open amount, if you want to keep that active, then we have to come up with a process called carry forward of commitments, open commitments. I don't think that is something we even have currently, right?
Thank you.
So yeah, ideally, what if you are using LOCs today as of 6:30 of that fiscal year, go with the same process going forward as well, right? There is another tile, maybe this test ID do not have it. We will do another demo. Maybe in the next demo, we will bring it up. It's called liquidation. So there are two, what we are doing with that is we are giving end users flexibility into liquidate the commitments, right? The commitments can be against the EMF or the commitments can be against the PO, right? So there will be an option for you to liquidate the EMF commitment or the PO commitment, and you will have access to your own commitment documents, your own EMFs and POs.
So both, so Praveen, both EMF amount change and liquidation are work in progress, right? They are not ready.
Right. I mean, in the coming demos, we will have to come up with a plan of when to demo it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi.
But if you have anything which have to be liquidated right away, purchasing team should have access. So we will work with Jorge. I mean, until you see the tile for liquidation, please do send an email to purchasing. We will work with them to liquidate those. Okay.
Hi, I have a question still concerning ordering from Airgas. So most labs have what they call an automatic delivery, where we have every Monday an order comes for CO2 or liquid nitrogen. If we create an earmark fund, can we continue to do that? Or do we have to physically go in and order the item, the gas or whatever, the tank delivery? Because sometimes it's very convenient to have the automatic delivery where they come and we know every Monday we're going to get a shipment. We're going to have a guy come and replace our tank. Would that be considered a service, or would that be an earmark fund?
No. So for that specific order, you don't need to create an earmark form for that. So the way we decided to route that is basically, so Katie's gonna give you a quote, right? Tell Katie, hey, Katie, I need a quote for X amount of tanks for this amount of time. Then she'll be able to calculate that. And then you go into the air gas punch out, go into your account, and then you select the tank, and then you put the amount that you need. And then once you check out, then you're able to place in your notes, this is for recurring every Monday orders, and then you'll be able to complete that order completely for the whole entire term that you need it for.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
So that's a service, the air gas that you just explained, Jorge?
So I think it's created as a material because it's basically because it's through a punch out, so it automatically creates for you, right through the punch out. So there's no need to go into material or service.
All right.
Yeah.
So that would be like the same thing for Federal Express and Water Logic.
So for FedEx, for FedEx will be on the service. Water Logic will be on the service as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's there because they don't have no punch outs.
Right. Okay. But they are in your system, right? Now?
Yep.
Okay, great.
All right. Any other questions on the EMF?
Okay, I think we can wrap this up. We have another demo on Wednesday and one on Thursday as well.
Jorge, should I follow up with the EMF for air gas?
Yes, I'm gonna work with Neo to see if we can push these out. Thank you for providing the numbers, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, everyone, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.